and good evening. This is Jet, and you're listening to
Metal Magazine.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Metal Magazine with Jet right here on Metal Messiah Radio. Tonight we have a few special guests with us. We have Vulk, the singer in Wormreich, and Profana, their drummer. Welcome to the show, guys.
Hey, how's it going?
How's it going?
So it's going really, really good. So we're going to start off with a Vulk. Now, you're the founder of the band, so tell us a little history behind the band, like how long ago did you start it, and why you started it in the first place?
Well, I started Wormreich in early 2009 as a solo project. The town I was living in Kentucky, where I pretty much grew up, there was not really anybody there that wanted to pursue the kind of art that I was into, and so it was necessary at the time for it to be a solo project. I was in another band at the time, but all I really wanted to do was play, write, create very violent, atonal, religious black metal, and so that's what I decided to do. And I started somewhere, I think, in March of 2009, and basically playing all the instruments myself. And then not too long later, I think maybe not quite a year, I met Ian in Vathron, who was the other guitar player and sort of my right-hand man as far as songwriting and everything went, and basically together we created our first album, Edictum 666, as a duo with myself on guitars, vocals, and bass, and him on guitars, drums, and keyboards. And about the time that we released that, we self-released it through my own little label that I started up for the sole purpose of releasing the album. Right at about the time that we did that, the two of us met Profana, who we had known from Bloodstained Dusk, and he basically came on as a drummer, and from that point forward we started being a live band and building our sound and everything, and basically the core members, the three of us, just continued on writing, recording, playing shows, really all over the Southeast and other parts of the country, and from there it's just been steadily progressing. So
now, I just wanted to say, were you guys both in, you had mentioned you were in bands prior to this, but have most of the bands you've been in been basically along the same lines as like black metal type music?
The band that I was in at the time that I started Wormreich was like a melodic black and death metal band that I was just playing bass for. And, other than that, I've been in some black metal and death metal bands in the past, but nothing quite as personal as Wormreich. And, I guess I'll let Profana talk about some of his past bands as well.
As is mentioned, yes, I founded Bloodstained Dusk in, late 1999, and kept it going strong for up till 2005, and that's when we lost Patrick Daggett Panther in a car wreck in January of that year, and we went on hiatus for about 3 years, and I really didn't have too much going on at the time. In fact, I had some medical issues I had to deal with, but in 2008, a opportunity had come up to where we could, the remaining members could get together and finish Black Faith Inquisition, which was the last album we had recorded. And shortly after that, we were in touch with Horna from Finland, and we were, basically given the opportunity to go on tour with them. Not too much, really, besides Bloodstained Dusk, unless you want me to go deep in the past and everything. I've done, I did session work for Ancient in Norway, and that was in 1998. Did about a 10 date, I think, here in the U.S., and 20 some odd dates over in Europe. Some of the other bands that I've played in and everything, probably nobody has probably heard of, but I'll mention a couple. I played in a death metal band. It's like old school death metal called Apocryph. Some very good friends of mine are in the band, and another band which was kind of a blackened, black metal thrash kind of a project called Octagon, and that also had Pest, formerly of Gorgoroth, obtained enslavement. He did vocals on the Octagon recording, and back to Black Faith Inquisition days, he was also in on that recording as well, and he did Hellfire Manifest number 2, which was in 2006, which was a festival that we did in honor and memory of our fallen brother Daggeth from BSD.
And while I still have you on the mic, just to get a little glimpse what the hell's going on in your mind there, when you were growing up as a kid, what kind of music did you listen to, and when did you start getting interested in this darker side of music?
Let me see. I'm trying to remember. But it's always been, it started out with, classic rock and everything, of course, AC/DC and Sabbath and Zeppelin and, CCR, Boston. I could go on forever. But, the appetite grew, wanted heavier, darker, just more fucking evil, aggressive shit that, and it, finally just spawned into, extreme metal. And really, there's, you can't really go any further than that. But, that's where my heart is now. It remains that way till the day I die.
And what about you, Vulk? I mean, what kind of music did you listen to, and when did you start getting interested in this more dark art?
I mean, growing up, and I'm quite a bit younger than Profana here. I'm only 27 years old, but I grew up listening to my dad's music. He grew up in the 60s, so a lot of classic rock, everything from Neil Young and CCR and, Buffalo Springfield and things like that. And slowly started progressing. I think when I was about 9 or 10 years old, I started listening to Metallica's early work, and from there just sort of progressed, Metallica and Sabbath into, Slayer, Judas Priest, Iron Maiden, kind of all the greats. And then when I started entering into my teens, it just kind of progressed further and further, and I was getting into more and more extreme music, death metal and grindcore, and then eventually just sort of black metal and, everything in that same sort of vein, and probably been a very devoted adherent to black metal and sort of, I guess you could say, the lifestyle that's associated with it since I was maybe 15 or 16 years old. And so it's this is what I've, I can't really picture myself doing anything other than this, and so it's going to remain that way. But that was kind of my evolution from, being a kid and not knowing what my tastes were yet, to developing a very very defined, almost elitist, so to speak, outlook on what I'm into and what resonates with me. So.
Okay, so now as far as, your band Wormreich goes, I mean, prior to this last tour, you released some stuff, and did you go out, did you play some shows? I mean, were they mostly local things, or what was going on with you guys?
I mean, we were doing a lot of shows, mostly kind of one-off or, 1 or 2 days here or there, and then a lot of festivals. Mm-hmm. Most of them were, here in the Southeast and the East Coast. We did some festivals in Pennsylvania and up in Maryland, and we played a lot here in Alabama and Georgia and Tennessee. Other than that, just kind of really wherever we wanted to play, wherever we had a good opportunity with similar bands and that kind of thing. Definitely for Wormreich, our big thing was wanting to play with similar bands that had an outlook that was not unlike our own. And, for us, atmosphere is everything. And the lineup of a show can have a lot to do with either making or breaking that atmosphere. And so we've always been pretty picky about what shows we do, and that's basically what we were doing at around the time we released our second release, which is the Worm Cult Revelations. Actually, it's an EP that was released through Moribund Records in 2014, and we're building back up to that point where we will be doing a lot of shows again, I'm sure. Probably on a bigger national scale, but that's about where we were at that point.
Okay, so that brings us to the tour this year. How are things going? Up until the accident. I mean, I know I was talking to Profana before you guys left, and everybody was so excited and pumped for this tour, and it seemed to be going really great. So how were things going up until the accident as far as the tour this year?
Actually, things had gone stellar. Really, those are some of the best shows that I think we've played. Our performances were as tight as they've ever been. It was our strongest live lineup, definitely. And
absolutely.
It was really good getting to travel a little bit with Cult of Azazel and Chaotica and get those dates in. We had a lot of fun, and like I said, it was a really strong lineup, really strong shows. And do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, you pretty much said it all. Going on the road with both of the bands, it brought me back to a lot of the times when I was on the road before, and I was, I don't know how to really explain it to you, but it just brought back a lot of really good memories, especially from Bloodstained Dusk and everything. And now that I'm in with Wormreich, Wormreich means everything to me. My brothers and all mean the world to me. To just going on the road with all the other bands and everything was one of the best times of my life, even though it was only for a few dates. But that still doesn't really. I don't even really know how to explain it any further than
all of the chemistry for those particular dates. It was all there. It's kind of a lot of touring bands only get to experience something like that, a few times in their whole careers, to where things go that well. And as far as being with the other bands and everything, it goes that smoothly. And like I said, there was a real chemistry there. So I'm grateful that we got to do it, and I'm grateful that for the members that we lost, that they were able to go out on such a high note. So. And
so I know this is an emotional type of question, but so many people have supported you all through this, Vulk. Now, what would you like to say about your recollection of the accident or what happened, and for the people that have supported you and are just want to hear it from you.
Well, as far as the accident goes, kind of the rundown of it, we were on our way from Spartanburg, South Carolina to Atlanta to play the last show of the tour. It was about 7 in the morning. We were on I-80, I think 85 or whatever that interstate's called that runs from east to west or north to south, however they have it. But basically the driver of the van at the time, his glasses had fallen off, and as he was exiting off to pick them up, someone woke up and thought he was going off the road, and I guess they yelled really loud, and it startled him to a point where he ended up losing control of the van. We ended up missing the exit and instead went down into a wooded area off of the interstate, and we didn't really lose any speed, and we ended up hitting a tree at about 70 miles an hour on the right side of the van. When that happened, 4 people of the 12 that were in the van were ejected, and 3 of them were killed instantly. The other person that was ejected survived and is recovering quite well, but that's basically the rundown of what happened. As far as the people that have been supportive through this whole ordeal, I mean, the support that we've gotten has been pretty outstanding, even from people that maybe don't necessarily agree with our viewpoints or the way that we live our lives or believe what we believe. But it's pretty humbling to have so much support from people that don't even know you and from sort of the, I guess, music world in general. And it's been a really cool experience to just have. I mean, I wish it were under much better circumstances, but just the fact that we've had all the support has definitely been very helpful, and definitely wish to salute everyone that has offered their support, whether it be even something as small as just some words. I mean, that they can have a big impact, and it's been very helpful not only to us but to our friends and families as well. So.
And Profana, what about you? What do you have to say as far as, what was going on, for you during this whole time, through the accident and the healing process?
Unfortunately, but I guess at the same time, most would say it, I'm very fortunate. I do not remember anything about the accident at all. I remember the night before that we had played the show in Spartanburg, had gone out to eat at Waffle House afterwards, then climbed in the van and had fallen asleep. All I remember after that would be I woke up in the ICU a few days later in a lot of pain. Chris or Vulk here has told me what all had happened, and that I had handed him my cell phone and everything right after the impact, and said to call 911, which I don't remember. It could be, I'm pretty sure I had a concussion, and I told you the extent, of my injuries and everything. We don't have to go into all that, but I really hate that we had lost, 3, wonderful people, Ian, Paul, and Nick from Chaotica. I didn't really get to know Nick very long, but from the time that I, did get to spend with him, he was a very cool guy. Very good drummer. It's a shame everything, happened, the way that it did, and but there's nothing can be done about it. Unfortunately, we just have to continue. Life goes on.
And I know you too, Profana, had a lot of people that were concerned as well when you were in the hospital. You had a lot of support.
And still going. It's unbelievable. I'm honestly at a loss of words, but I can say thank you very much to everyone that has been there, for me and for all of us in Wormreich, and I could even speak for Chaotica too, since we're very tight with them.
Mm-hmm.
And several of their members had gotten hurt too, and we wish the absolute best for them in their recovery. I'm starting to get back to normal, in the swing of things and everything, and getting back on on set. I know a lot of people know I've been on The Walking Dead, and can't really say too much more about that for this season. But I can say this much. Been on 3 times so far. That's all I can say. Then, of course, the other big project that I was very, very fortunate to have a part of was, the Booth Brothers sci-fi production, Dead Still, mm-hmm. which I remember talking to you mm-hmm. back and forth on Facebook Messenger while mm-hmm. it was playing.
Yep.
So, I know that some things are in the works for another project that I will have supposedly an even bigger part in, plus help with effects, and I'm not sure if I'll make another a prop for the movie or whatever, but I made the creepiest shit doll that was in Dead mm-hmm. Still. And I have no title or anything like that yet, but I promise I'll let you know when I know.
Good. So you got some stuff going on now. I know a lot of equipment was damaged in this too, so Profana, you got yourself another drum kit, and it looks like you got some newer drums and some old pieces from the older ones, so you're getting all used to that now?
Yeah, actually, I am. It's not a total Frankenstein kit or anything like that.
No.
But I've had that. Oh man, if I had to play those before. But a very good friend of mine I've known for at least 15 years, Lance Wright, who is also our engineer for recording, the latest Wormreich, Worm Cult Revelations. Mm-hmm. And he did Black Faith Inquisition for Bloodstained Dusk. Mm-hmm. Anyway, he plays drums too, and he had an old Premiere kit that I've had to play before, at some festivals and everything. Because if we had 200 drum sets in a festival, you know how long that takes. Mm-hmm. So everybody was using the one kit. It just happened that he still had it, and he contacted me. He's like, man, I know that you had lost about 3/4 of your kit and everything in the wreck. I still have the Premiere kit if you would like to, borrow it, and I'd even sell it to you. And he said it's only proper that it goes to you because just like you, it won't fucking die.
That's awesome, and it looks great, It's a nice kit, and it's got a lot of history on it.
It does. It really does.
Okay, so now, like I said, you guys have had so much support, and through it all, Vulk, You were saying that we have not seen the end of Wormreich. What's the lineup of the band now, and what are you currently working on as far as, writing or doing any shows or anything like that?
Well, currently, as far as the lineup is concerned, I'm doing vocals and guitar. We've got Still Profana on drums and Wyvern on guitar. That's Stephen Shoemaker, who was also involved in the accident. We've got another guitar player who we've been working with for a little while. I don't want to give up too much right now as far as the name or anything, because things are still in the preliminary stages, but he's on board with us. We've also got Phoenix on bass, who was he's been our live bassist before for several shows, and he came back on board with us after the accident. Right now, we're still working on the second full-length album, which was in the works before the tour and before the accident. That will be released on Moribund Records probably in 2016. We're still finishing up the writing process on that, and we'll be going into the studio. It will be before the end of the year. We probably, had the wreck not happened, we probably would have been in the studio by now. We might even have the album finished by now, but because of what happened, things were delayed quite a bit. We've still got quite a bit of work to do. We do have several songs, mostly written, and then that album is going to be titled Vril, and like I said, that'll be released sometime next year. We also have a split EP, like a 12-inch in the works. We were originally scheduled to do the EP with Cult of Azazel, but due to recent events with their lineup changes and more or less disbanding, we're kind of working on the project with another band right now, and I don't want to give away too much, but details of that will be announced very soon. And the reason I can't give up too many details is because things can change.
No, I know.
So until things get really cemented, I don't want to kind of make a big commitment on air or anything like that. But yeah, people will know something soon.
Now, are you doing any little shows anywhere or anything?
Well, the first one that we have scheduled right now will be Shadowwoods Festival in Whitehall, Maryland. It's going to be a very big 2-day, extreme sort of, mainly black, doom, folk kind of festival. That'll be September, I think, 25th and 26th. That will be our first show since the accident, since the tour, and we'll be playing on the second night. I believe we'll be on stage right before the band Midnight from Ohio. And then after that, we've got some other things in the works, and we're working on some other pretty big prospects as far as touring and the like. But for right now, we've just got a few one-off shows that we're doing. I think next year we have a festival in Indianapolis with Nocturnus AD and some other bands. I don't know the details of that one too much yet because it is still a ways off.
Right,
but other than that, I mean, we're looking to get more live shows booked, and it's just going to be a matter of time. So
now, for both of you guys, is Wormreich your main band? I mean, do you guys got any other projects or anything going on?
As for the first part of your question, yes, Wormreich is, obviously my main focus. It has been
mine as well.
Yeah, it has been since I started it. Profana and I are involved in another project at this time called Naos with members of Cult of Azazel and Tenebros. Basically, it's a Eric or Hag from Cult of Azazel used to be in Pact on vocals, Zafan on guitar, Armanen on guitar, myself on bass, and Profana on drums. And we've got some things in the works right now as far as getting some material together. I know Zafan is working on material probably as we speak. As to when an official release for that is going to be, I don't know yet. But right now, like I said, our main focus is and always will be Wormreich. So,
and that'll be another show. So, so we've just about covered everything, but before we go, is there anything else you guys would like to add?
Yeah, I want to thank a few folks for everything that they've done. Be Tony Wolf, Tommy Johnson, Nathan Williams, and Michelle Williams, and of course all my friends, from the entertainment industry, both in music and movies and everything, for all their help and support and everything. Thank you very much, and really. Totally appreciate everything you guys have done. Thank you very much. Jet. You've been a very, very cool friend. You've, called and checked up on me and everything. Throughout all of my recovery process here. And just wanted to let you know it will not be forgotten.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, chimes. And Vulk, do you have anything that you want to say in closing?
Basically, Profana covered a lot of it. Just definitely want to thank everyone that's offered their support and their help. All of the names that Profana listed, the friends and families of everyone involved, all of those, not only in the music industry, but in the media as well, who have offered their support. Basically to those detractors or, the shit talkers, the naysayers, whatever you want to call them, basically just a big fuck off to them. This is going to be, Wormreich's not going anywhere. We're here to stay. Nothing that can happen to us is going to put a stop to this. I'm thoroughly convinced now, and so I want to thank you, Jet, and I want to thank, like I said, everyone that's offered their support and condolences, and we will be seeing everyone on the road or wherever we're going to see them, wherever they're at. Anyone that wants to drop us a line or anything, feel free, and just hails, thanks to everyone, hail Satan.
Okay, well, guys, we look forward to hearing new music from you, and the best of everything to you both.
All right, you too. Thanks.
You too. Thanks for the interview.